Presently, I'm reading P.G. Wodehouse's The Pothunters. It's the 120th anniversary edition. So, reading from the inner jacket, suspicion abounds at St. Austin's School when 2 silver trophies or pots are stolen from the cricket pavilion. Jim Thompson, a talented sportsman who, due to an unfortunate series of coincidences, could be thought to be the burglar, resolves to clear his name. Featuring a man from Scotland Yard chases through the woods and an exasperated headmaster. Wodehouse's first novel is a paean, that means that is praise to his beloved idyllic late Victorian school days, punctuated by bouts of gentlemanly sport and comic escapades. All the hallmarks of what makes Wodehouse a great comic writer are in evidence here in a spiffing read for Wodehouse aficionados, that is his fans, and the uninitiated alike. The Pothunters, P.G. Wodehouse. Publishers Hutchinson and Henneman of London, and it is by the Penguin Random House. You have all this copyright here, information, and the ISBN number. The name of the school is the fictional public school, that is St. Austin's in England, and the boarding houses, there are 4 of them. The students are housed in 4 different houses there. That is Mayor Wales House. Second is Schoolhouse. Third is Ward's House, and 4th is Prater's house. It is a fun, breezy read. It is light-hearted. It is a boarding school tale with humor and pranks galore. The plot of the Pothunters revolves around the misadventures of a group of schoolboys at the mentioned school, grammar school. The main plot points could be the story introduces Tony, Wayne, Alan, and their friends, showcasing their camaraderie and school life. And the group decides and they make a pot hunting society, and they also have a magazine, the St. Austin's Gazette, which is full of school gossip and scoops. And when you start reading, you come across this boxing match. A boxing match between Tony and Appleyard creates tension and highlights the rivalry between the characters. I'm reading from page 4. The Wing and Other Public Schools boxing competition is something in the nature of a religious ceremony. And when they weigh, they're weighing to compartmentalize them into heavyweights, middleweights, and lightweights. Read for yourself, it's so interesting. So I'm going to read from page 123 about the cross-country, inter-house cross-country race. So he writes that it was always fixed for the afternoon after sports day. The course for the race was a difficult one. There were hedges and brooks to be negotiated, and worst of all, ploughed fields. The first ploughed field usually thinned the ranks of the competitors considerably. The distance was about 10 miles. The race started at 3 o'clock. Jim and Welch's first stirring set the pace from the beginning and gradually drew away from the rest. Drake came third, and following him the rest of the houses in a crowd. Welch ran easily and springily, Jim with more effort. He felt from the start that he could not last. He resolved to do his best for the honor of the house, but just as the second mile was beginning, the first of the ploughed fields appeared in view, stretching, so it appeared to Jim, right up to the horizon. He groaned. "Go on, Welch," he gasped. "I'm done." Welch stopped short in his stride and eyed him critically. "Yes," he said, "better get back to the house. You overdid it yesterday." That is, yesterday, that was their sports day. "Lie down somewhere. Goodbye." And he got into his stride again. Jim watched his figure diminish until at last it was a shapeless dot of white against the brown surface. Then he lay down on his back and panted. It was in this attitude that Drake found him, a friend of his. For a moment, an almost irresistible wish seized him to act in the same way. There was an unstudied comfort about Jim's pose which appealed to him strongly. His wind still held out, but his legs were beginning to feel as if they did not belong to him at all. He pulled up for an instant. "Hello," he said. "Done up?" For reply, Jim merely grunted. "Slacker," said Drake. "Where's Welch?" "Miles ahead." "Oh, Lord," groaned Drake, and pulling himself together, set out painfully once more across the heavy surface of the field. Jim lay where he was a little longer. The recollection of the other runners who might be expected to arrive shortly stirred him to action. He did not wish to interview everyone on the subject of his dropping out. He struck off at right angles towards the hedge on the left. As he did so, the first of the crowd entered the field, etc. I mean, that's how it goes. So how the race ends. The school began to return by ones and twos, most of them taking up a position near the big gates. This was where the race was to finish. There was a straight piece of road about 200 yards in length before the high road was reached. It was a sight worth seeing when the runners, paced by their respective houses on each side of the road, swept around the corner and did their best in sprint with all that was left in them after 10 miles of difficult country. Suddenly, a distant shouting began to be heard. The leaders had been sighted. The noise increased, growing nearer and nearer until at last it swelled into a roar, and a black mass of runners turned the corner. In the midst of the black was one white figure, Welch, as calm and unruffled as if he had been returning from a short trot to improve his wind. Mervales surged round him in a cheering mob. Welch simply disregarded him. He knew where he wished to begin his sprint, and he would begin it at that spot and no other. The spot he had chosen was well within 100 yards from the gates. When he reached it, he let himself go, and from the uproar, the crowd appeared to be satisfied. A long pause, and still none of the other runners appeared. 5 minutes went by before they began to appear. First Jones of the schoolhouse, and Simpson, who raced every yard of the way and finished in the order named, and then 3 of Philpott's house in a body. The rest dropped in at intervals for the next quarter of an hour. The headmaster always made a point of watching the finish of the cross-country run. So indeed, he was generally one of the last to leave. Really, I mean, the cross-country runs are real fun. I remember Even I had participated in one in my college days. It was great fun. In my NCC days, National Cadet Corps at Panchgani. So back cover you have, it's written witty and effortlessly fluid. His books are laugh out loud funny, writes Arabella Weir. And that's the ISBN for you. As you see, the inner back cover, back jacket, something about P.G. Wodehouse, 1881 to 1975, is widely regarded as the greatest comic writer of the 20th century. Wodehouse wrote more than 70 novels and 200 short stories, creating numerous much-loved characters. The inimitable Jeeves and Wooster, Lord Emsworth and his beloved Empress of Blandings, Mr. Milliner, Uckridge and P. Smith. His humorous articles were published in more than 80 magazines, including Punch, over 6 decades. He was also a highly successful music lyricist, once with 5 musicals running on Broadway simultaneously. Great, eh? P.G. Wodehouse was awarded the Mark Twain Prize for an outstanding and lasting contribution to the happiness of the world. So read for yourself to find about the theft of sports prizes. That is these silver cups, as you see the picture of that. They are stolen, 2 of them, leading to an investigation and accusations. And the characters themselves, they navigate the investigation with alliances and relationships. Then there are clues and red herrings. I mean, there is a mystery about the whole thing. Various clues and there are various clues there, and that add to the mystery as well as humor. And you will come to know about the true culprit once you go through the book. And the end, of course, the school's atmosphere returns to normal. It's indeed an interesting read.